Brilliance Audio presents Crimes and Cover-Ups in American Politics, 1776 to 1963, by Donald Jeffries, performed by Lars Mikaelson. Foreword by Ron Paul. My late friend Murray Rothbard, founder of the modern libertarian movement, saw historical revisionism as one of the three pillars of libertarian scholarship, along with Austrian economics and natural rights theory. Revisionism is important because the official history promulgated by the court historians who dominate America's education system, from K through 12 to graduate schools, as well as the mainstream publishing industry, the so-called news media, and Hollywood, present a version of American history where far-sighted, selfless leaders expand federal power to benefit the people, especially those oppressed by greedy one-percenters and the capitalist system. Those who stood against these attempts to expand government are either smeared or ignored. The fact that Thomas Jefferson, whose first draft of the Declaration of Independence condemned slavery, is routinely smeared as a racist and a child molester by mainstream historians and journalists, while Alexander Hamilton, father of America's central banking, is a Broadway sensation, tells us everything we need to know about the biases of America's political, academic, and cultural elites. Revisionism counters the official narrative with the truth about the real agendas and actions of those behind the transformation of America from a republic to a gigantic welfare warfare state. Therefore, revisionism, along with a knowledge of sound economics and an embrace of the non-aggression principle, is one of the keys to convincing individuals to embrace the ideas of liberty, but actively work to bring about the free society. Therefore, every lover of liberty should be thankful for Donald Jeffries' Crimes and Cover-Ups in American Politics. Jeffries presents hidden facts and inconvenient truths about many major events in American history from the Revolution era to the early days of the Cold War. Jeffries also tells the unfriendly and oftentimes ugly truth about the establishment's heroes and rehabilitates many forgotten and/or smeared champions of liberty. Jeffries goes where even many revisionists fear to tread, addressing the racist views of Abraham Lincoln, Ulysses S. Grant, and other Northern leaders, while exploring the anti-slavery views of Confederate leaders Robert E. Lee and Stonewall Jackson. Jeffries also challenges the myth that World War II was the good war by exposing how Allied forces engaged in what, by the Allies' own standards, as applied at the Nuremberg Trials, can only be called war crimes, oftentimes with full knowledge and support of top military commanders and leading government officials. Jeffries also discusses how Franklin Roosevelt was so desperate to get popular support for U.S. entry into the war that he ignored intelligence regarding the impending Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor. This is particularly important since the official versions of the Civil War and World War II are the founding myth of the American empire and its global crusade for democracy and human rights. Pointing out how Lincoln violated civil liberties and the Constitution, or how FDR deceived the public about the government's prior knowledge of and desire for Pearl Harbor, does not make one pro-Nazi or pro-slavery. These slurs are used by the war party to avoid debate of the merits of an interventionist foreign policy. I do not agree with all of Jeffries' conclusions. For example, I am not anti-vaccine. However, I do believe the medical profession, as well as Congress and the Food and Drug Administration, FDA, has been captured by the pharmaceutical industry and needs to address the many legitimate health risks of vaccines instead of silencing and smearing so-called anti-vaxxers. Government should never force an individual to get a vaccine against their will or force a child to be vaccinated against the parents' wishes. Crimes and Cover-Ups in American Politics is an eye-opening look at the real history of how the political class, aided and abetted by special interests, has betrayed the principles of America's founding for their own power and gain. I can't imagine anyone reading this book and not wanting to join the ongoing...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?